Okay.
All right.
All right.
Welcome everyone.
Welcome everyone. This is
planning board
meeting
call the meeting to
call
order
the meeting to order on August 2nd at
6:01.
6:01.
My name is Stephanie
I'm
Slish. Chair of planning board. Jimmy Tarr to my right is the alternate chair. To my left, I have John Jeffress and Lee Bell. We have Janelle Franklin, our town planner. We have Ashton Weigel, who's joining us for the first time, who is going to be Gerard Bueno's replacement at the end of next week. So welcome, Ashton. We look forward to getting to know you more. And also, I want to take this time to really thank Gerard for his time. Oh, don't blush, Gerard. Thank you for your time here. And we have a little card for you that we'll hand over to you after. But we really want to say thank you. And if anyone else wants to say anything.
Yeah, I thank you for what you've done for this planning board, and for me personally, but what you've done for us, keeping things straight, getting everybody in the right place at the right time, getting all these papers into you and into us. You've done a great job for us, and we really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're going to miss you, Gerard. And
yeah,
best of luck on what you're off to next.
Yep.
That's nothing but accolades. Thank you. You've made our lives so much easier. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
I think you know that.
Stay in touch.
Good luck in the future.
No pressure, Ashton. Big shoes to fill. All right. We have now public forum on the agenda. This is on every agenda of our planning board meetings. This is an opportunity for the public to speak to anything that is not on our agenda. And this also will include, in this particular case, anybody who wants to speak or comment on 12 or 18 Elm Street, because the public comment period has closed for that hearing. So if you are here for that and would like to have any comments or anything to say to the board regarding that, now is the time, because it's public forum. Or if you want to speak to anything else that is not on the agenda, now is the time. If not, give folks another second. If not, we can close public forum and move to the next item on our agenda, which is our continued hearing for 12 to 18 Elm Street, which is a storage unit redevelopment. Where we ended last month was we needed more time basically to look into some of the questions that came up with the parcel and the projected plans here. And so I think I'm gonna pass the mic to our applicant, and then Janelle will also chime in with what's transpired over the last month. So 2 months, I guess. Yes, because we didn't meet last month. Thank you.
So good evening, Jeff Squire from the Berkshire Design Group here on behalf of Benson Mini Storage. Here with me is Paul, Alejandro, and Michael, who are representing the team. I think, we had answered a lot of the questions last time. I know there was an updated plan submitted, maybe a week ago that just incorporated a lot of the other plantings and some of the miscellaneous stuff that had been incorporated as part of the Conservation Commission order of conditions. So all of that has been added to this plan. The plan had also removed the access easement, and I understand there'll be some further discussion about the A&R or the way the property may or may not be subdivided. Certainly more conversation on that, but I think, I'm not aware of any other major issues or concerns. And at this point, happy to answer any other questions the board might have, stormwater-wise or other. I think we're open to your suggestions and recommendations for trying to move this forward.
Mm-hmm. If we want to talk about the project first, and then we can talk about the A&R piece.
Yeah, I think one question that we had was just that corner that's still in, the storage unit that's still in the 100-year floodplain.
This little,
I think
100-foot buffer.
Or, buffer. Did we talk about if it's possible to shift that so that it's tucked in, so that it's not crossing that?
the options are to take this building and slide it back further. All that really does is just expand the,
Footprint.
the footprint area.
Mm-hmm.
I know that was a question that the commission asked, and then through that process, it demonstrated that, doing what they had asked, actually increased the amount of, asphalt or impervious area out there. So for the little bit of, it's 120 square feet or something, I forget what the building encroachment was, but.
And so the Conservation Commission was okay with.
They didn't disagree that, that solution didn't create more impervious, so they were fine
They
with
would
this.
rather see less impervious
Yes.
Okay.
surface. Any questions on the plan proposed there? And also to note too, like just for the public, again, awareness is that there's a demolition delay on right now from the Historical Commission on the barn part of the parcel. That doesn't mean we can't vote on passing or not passing or this. We don't have to wait for that to happen in order for us to vote on that tonight.
I wonder if there's any updates on that process, if there's been any discussion on the barn.
So yeah, there was a conversation between Mickey Sanderson on the Historical Commission and Alejandro, the owner of the parcels, Janelle and myself, just to kind of see, like, to start, to break, kind of have the communication going, starting to flow, I guess you could say. And yeah. And so it's my understanding that the Historical Commission is going to go do a site visit of the barn. And Alejandro, you're working with them on scheduling that, I
We
believe.
had a conversation about it, and I've invited Nikki to do that, and I haven't heard back yet about dates and so on, but yes, we would love to facilitate that.
So it seems like there's conversations that are happening that are separate, it's a separate process. And it seems like they'll see and for themselves what they got going on there. And Alejandro also, which supplied to us, which I forwarded to the board, he had a third-party assessment of the barn, a restoration specialist look at the barn to determine like salvageable, not salvageable, and so that that was all shared with y'all if you had a chance to read that.
I have a question. What's on the top in the middle? What are the up? Yeah, what's that all section right there?
These are the existing storage units.
Okay.
right there.
Okay.
Yeah, so the gray area would be new and additional potentially. Yeah. Any other questions about the plan?
What about the vegetation?
Yeah, I've had the questions about the vegetation, but it seems like you're saying the wooded area on each end of the side, each part of the side lots there
Yeah.
qualifies enough. Is a 50-foot buffer there of vegetation?
Oh, yes. Around the perimeter of the,
Yep.
yes. Yeah, I mean, this is an existing condition, so we
Yeah.
can't, there's an existing hedgerow that will be, retained along this whole property line. This certainly meets all of that. And through here, there's an existing driveway, and there's some wooded area here that will all remain as well.
Yeah, see, you got your hedgerow on the south side.
Yes.
Any other questions on the design itself?
There's also, these are the arborvitaes too, right, that are gonna potentially be placed behind the house so that.
Yes,
Okay.
correct. There was some discussion about some, initial hedgerow there to block. I don't think those are going to be visible because they're actually, it's lower than the rooftop of these is lower than the existing cupola now, which is barely visible.
Okay.
So, but there is a hedgerow planted there.
Pending outcome of the barn. Any other questions? Yeah.
May I ask, is there a plan B if the barn stays up? That hasn't been discussed.
Our current plan is to build this in phases. And the first phase wouldn't be impacting the barn or be impacted by the barn anyway.
So you're talking about the first three buildings on the
First
east side.
four buildings, yeah.
These.
If we can't demolish the barns, then we can't finish the expansion.
But you'll be able to move forward with 4.
Yes, sir.
Did you have a question about some other arborvitae shielding the house to the
No,
west, or is
that's here. And this was the wooded area we just talked about.
Okay.
That matches the code.
Any other questions
good.
about the particular design. All right, with that, then there's the matter of how, yeah, the matter of how, so 2 meetings ago, we approved an A&R to take off the back portion of 18 Elm Street, so basically siphoning the house off from the barn in the back half of the property. Janelle, you can explain how
Yeah,
that.
And so the A&R was recorded at the Registry of Deeds, but because a new deed was not submitted to the town or abutters, that A&R is the plan is going to stay at the Registry of Deeds, and no one is taking further action on it. So, in my opinion, the best way forward, which we talked about, would be getting an A&R to combine 12 and 18 together, and then this use in the industrial district is allowed by special permit with site plan approval. So I would recommend approving this with the condition that you were to get an A&R to combine those 2 lots. I think that the work that is going to be done here with stormwater is going to improve the property that it's on, and improve conditions for abutters for the flooding that they're experiencing right now. Whether or not people want this land to be industrial 20 years in the future doesn't matter as much to right now, where it is zoned industrial, and this is a use that's allowed on that land, and it's a quiet use. So that's what I am suggesting.
I have a comment. I think that this project will, noise-wise, make the neighbors a little less anxious as to what's been there in the past. The whole thing with the wood business in there was horrible for the neighborhood.
And for us.
And for us, for everybody.
And that is
So-
an industrial use.
Right.
compared
So
to
they
this
were
business.
allowed to do that, but I mean, I think that they packed up their bags and left for probably good reasons or whatever their reasons were. But I think that this is a much more palatable use of the property for the neighborhood, especially with the site work that you plan to do. Just my personal comments.
And I also just want to add that the improvements that you would be doing to the land, given this permit and what you can do before the demolition delay is figured out with the historical commission, that is going to be great for the land there, but obviously we can't promise of what the historical commission is going to vote on later down
Understood.
the line. Yeah.
I guess my only comment would be here that I think that it's an excellent usage of the land. And obviously my concern is for the neighborhood and the residents and just the rural and historic nature of that whole area, you know. So my concern is that it maintains, you know, the house isn't what it used to be right now, but it is kind of a jewel of architecture in the town. And I would urge you to bear that in mind as you move forward, you know, especially with your thought process with that barn, because I know a lot of people hold that near and dear, and there have been a lot of people in my ear about that.
Mm.
That's all I have on that.
Yeah, and I think the fact that there's going to be much improvement to the watershed area is something that is, you know, really
It's real positive.
real positive for this, considering what's currently there now. So that is another reason why I think it's great to see someone who wants to make that right. And yeah, I personally don't think that it should be zoned industrial, but that's what we have, and that's what we're working with. So with that in mind, do we have any other questions for the applicant? Otherwise, we can move to deliberations if we.
All good?
I have nothing.
All right. I'll have to see here. With that. I have to figure out, so we closed the public hearing then previously, or was that still part of the public hearing? Sorry, Gerard, put you on your feet your last time.
That was a public hearing.
Right, so now we're closed.
Close
Go
public
Yeah.
before deliberation.
Right, all right. Right, we're gonna close the public hearing then, move on to board deliberations. So now this is time for us to talk amongst ourselves, which we kind of just kind of said our piece there with how I think we were feeling.
Yeah, I mean, we have assurances from Kyle that that the process needs to be gone through prior to the barn. So that assuaged any concerns that I have immediately on that. And the screening, I think, has helped. I mean, it's given the layout of that piece of land, the buildings are going to be difficult to see back there as it sits. So yeah, we've already said it. I mean, I think it's a great usage of a piece of land that could have something quite a bit worse back there that would generate quite a bit more traffic. So again, just my residential concerns, but I'm for the project generally.
All right, so if we move ahead with Janelle's recommendation, it would be, if someone wanted to propose that, or any other conditions that anyone else thinks we need to consider.
You talking about combining the two lots?
No, that's
No, we're not
correct.
voting on that. We're voting on whether we would approve the special permit with the condition that they get the A&R.
Well, I would make a motion then that we approve this with the condition that they have an A&R approved to get the lots combined in the future.
Any discussion on that?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. A special permit is granted. We'll hopefully see you next month for an A&R. And yeah, like we said, I think all things considered, we inherited a situation that was not ideal, and trying to make it right for everyone. And hopefully we got there. So
Really appreciate everyone's patience and, yeah, we thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very useful talk to me, so thank you.
We also appreciate your persistence.
and now Janelle can think about other things now. All right. So our next item on the agenda isn't until 6:30 for a site plan review, and unfortunately, we can't do those things until the time on them. So we thought that was going to take longer. So with that, we can vote. We can move some things on the agenda that are not tied to the time restrictions, because we have something at 6:30 and at 6:45. So if we want to discuss any sort of the board discussions or updates from our town planner,
I wonder, is it possible for me to make a motion to change the agenda to move the times up so that we
we
may
can't
expedite?
because we
Notify
notified people.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh, it was a try. It was a try. Come on, it was a try.
sorry.
I can talk about,
We have to make a motion to move the
yep,
to the
I got excited.
to move the board
I
discussion updates.
I
to-
move to reshuffle the agenda to allow the updates from town planner Janelle Franklin to happen right now.
I would second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Time for updates from Janelle.
Okay, so I feel like I have some free time
Woo.
now. It's exciting. So making some updates to the open space development bylaw / natural resource protection zone area. That is on my list of things to do. Design guidelines I reviewed. So we had, I think in 2014, were they?
Proposed.
Proposed, yeah. So we had some proposed design guidelines in 2014, and I went through them, and they seem pretty comprehensive. I'd like to look at some other towns and see if they've made amendments recently that maybe I haven't thought of. The problem with it is the formatting, which is where you come in.
Welcome, Ashton.
I was thinking that might be a project that you could help with and doing some formatting on. It's a Word document.
definitely,
yeah, just needs
It's like
some-
probably like from a 2014 Word document. So when you open it in 2020
yeah,
Word, it looks all messed
it's a
up.
bit
Perfect.
scrambled.
I've had to
So
deal with that before though, so that shouldn't be a problem.
just it's like a nice little puzzle activity. That you get to
Paste
do
the
at
whole
your
thing
desk.
into Google Docs. It'll be perfectly fine.
Control C, Control V.
Perfectly fine.
So that is something that we hope to be able to put at next town meeting. And then some GIS stuff.
What's that?
So GIS is a mapping software that I learned how to use this last semester
Great.
at my grad school program. And I was going to look at making a town map that shows the 200-foot buffer for wetlands, so we know when something is triggered for conscom review.
Talk about adding a layer to
Mhm.
the current GIS.
Yes. Yep. So having that, and then
Right now, it just shows the wetlands, but it doesn't. You have
Show
to
the
like do
buffer.
a map, like you have to like figure it out.
Figure
if
out
it's
the
200 feet.
scale.
Mhm.
and then potentially something also that shows the ditches in town.
That seems.
I tried that for a final project, and it was much more difficult than I thought it was going to be.
This town would be especially difficult.
So I was looking through my emails today, and I found John's contact information, and John Pease,
Mhm.
if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, talking to him and working on that possibly as a project. And yeah, those are like my things. So if anyone has other things that they want me to look into, add to my list, that's kind of what I've got on my to-do though.
And we
now.
have to pass the design guidelines at
Yes,
town
at town
meeting.
meeting, yep.
And then that would be the open space development bylaw update, which is something that we were trying to do like 2019, 2020.
Oh, and then Joe approached me this morning and wanting
Joe who? For the record.
Joe, a moderator,
LaValle,
LaValle,
ex-moderator.
ex-moderator, yes. Possibly figuring out a way to use CPA funds to do some sort of like first-time home buyer assistance in Hatfield, which is something that it can be used for. It can also be used to supplement the cost of new housing too, which is something I think we could look into. But I'm fairly unfamiliar with that, so that's all stuff that I'd have to
Like
research.
we're abysmal when it comes to affordable housing in Hatfield.
Abysmal is a kind word.
I agree. Yeah, we are. Yes, at jeopardy of.
Right.
Yeah, probably.
Getting,
Finger wagging at
getting
this-
scolded.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually an interesting program
Yeah.
that Joe's.
Yeah, and that's
talking
something
CPA.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
something that came up at the comprehensive plan committee meeting that we had at Black Birch Vineyard. One of the community conversations was around land use and housing, and that was something in particular that came up. One of the ideas generated there was having a first-time homebuyers program, supplying some CPA funds to help first-time homebuyers in town.
Just the potential backfill for the schools
Right.
is
And this is and one of the other potential solutions for what we're feeling with the fact that our home prices are really expensive in Hatfield, and the way the lot sizes are makes it really expensive for any new buildings to go in or new homes to go in. Was trying to push our open space development bylaw, and I think hopefully when we look at updating it, we could add some incentives that would allow for extra lots and things if you did incorporate low affordable housing in there,
Cool.
in order to incentivize more mixed use homes. Yeah. So those are things like the comprehensive plan committee is working on those. Thinking about these things, and they would make recommendations in any sort of comprehensive plan, and we can get ahead of these things and do them now if we wanted to too. So I know that for the CPA, the applications due in November usually. So if you wanted
to use fund.
Yeah, and
vote on
well,
those
and
at
the
town
thing is,
meeting.
there is a lot of money in that fund right now.
Eve told me.
And we haven't touched any of the housing fund.
Yeah.
And there's a certain percentage has to be earmarked for
I
housing.
believe, if I'm not mistaken, that Hatfield is currently spending 0 that would be matched on.
So yeah, it's something that is underutilized, and if we can, in a way, like get the most impact with that for that, and like I understand, like it's not like we could set up a development plan for some particular parcel between now and November,
Yeah.
but something like creating a fund would be something that we
Didn't
could
the town meeting allocate $400,000 out of those funds for pickleball?
That's earmarked for the recreation piece, not
Oh,
the housing
okay.
piece, but
So it's still part of the same fund, though?
It
Yeah.
is, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's, yeah.
Right.
Something that I forgot too was we were asked 2 months ago, I think, about the mill,
yeah.
doing something at the mill, which I kicked to Conservation Commission for the time.
So yeah, if you want to explain what they were trying to do.
Yeah, potentially some, I'm forgetting their names, the owners.
Colleen and Woodridge, Woolridge,
Bill and Jerry.
Bill,
Justin.
Bill and Justin.
yeah.
Bill Woodridge and Justin Colleen.
So they approached asking if they could possibly get an A&R to separate the mill so that
From the dam.
from the dam.
They don't want the dam, is the short of it.
That's
Right.
yeah,
Nobody
that's-
wants the damn.
Nobody wants it down. Okay.
And they wanted to do that and create like a nonprofit to take it
Yeah.
over. But there's
so that they could
they
protect
can't
it.
do the A&R because there's not enough frontage, and so we can't deal with that.
Yeah. So I suggested getting a conservation easement to them. I don't know if they've approached the Conservation Commission yet or their familiarity, if they've done that before.
And I would caution them based on what happened with Mount Warner and that dam there, because they tried to do something similar and it ended up
Oh.
being a big,
Hmm.
there was stuff going on there with that when the nonprofit took over the dam. 'Cause
Okay.
Nobody wanted the dam. Which is it's actually like at a critical failure too, or like forget what the terminology that the state uses, but it's
Most of those old, yeah.
it needs
icky.
it needs some TLC, and nobody wants to give it the TLC. So
A
But
little
that,
jewel in town now, you know.
I know, yeah,
yeah, it's,
that would deplete our
Character.
CPA funds, I'm sure. And I don't think that would qualify for a CPA, but they could qualify for certain types of grants and stuff from the
Okay.
state.
yeah,
But that wouldn't be our purview, really.
okay.
That would be, I think pushing them to Conservation Commission was the right move, but letting y'all know that was something that came in
Yeah.
this past month.
Well, it would be great to see something happen there.
Yeah, because I know the CPA, the Community Preservation Committee, there was a plan to put in like a bridge of flowers across that dam,
Yeah, that's good.
but they didn't want to approve the money until someone decides to fix the dam. Because why would you put,
Yeah,
whatever infrastructure to put in this beautiful walking path when the dam needs attention first? So,
Mhm.
yeah. We have one more minute and then
Just
we
a little
can.
caveat about that. The Bridge of Flowers is closing down for several years
Yep.
in
It's the last
October
year.
for total reconstruction
oh,
in Shelburne, yeah.
So that
I'm
is-
actually going there tomorrow.
Nice.
I have a friend from Oregon here, so we're going to go up there tomorrow.
Nice. All right. Oh, that didn't sound good. Or was someone here? Someone's joining us virtually. It did sound good. Okay.
Aaron Broder?
Nope. Peter Irvine is on the line. All right. So now it is 6:29. Hi.
So I think you can open it ahead of time, ahead of these, but you can't close, you can't make a decision until.
Until then. Oh, okay.
Secure-
Gerard coming
I
in.
just-
Attaboy,
I would assume
Gerard.
that-
6:30. We made it.
Let's go.
All right. Any other updates from you, Janelle?
Nope.
All right.
not that I remember.
And I think between now and the next meeting, I'd like to work with you a little bit on creating like a timeline that we can work back from, because there's deadlines and things that we need to
Yeah.
work with and try and figure out how to plan the meetings.
Make a Gantt chart.
Yep. And so Janelle will probably be taking up a little bit more time at our meetings going forward, proposing things, and hopefully we can get community input on some of this stuff too.
Nice.
All right. Now we're here to look at a site plan review for a potential hair salon at 22 West Street. If you don't mind making your way to the front. Yes, please, for the mic. All right. So if you'd like to introduce yourself and the potential plan, yeah.
Absolutely. My name is Kate Poole, and I have owned a hair salon for nearly 10 years in Amherst. But I am a Hatfield resident. I have our children go to the Hatfield Elementary School, and we just adore Hatfield. And over the years living here, we've noticed that there are no hair salons in the area. Between Deerfield to Northampton, it's kind of this empty area. So we really think that the town would really benefit from a hair salon. Right now, the residents from Hatfield have to leave the town and spend their money outside of the town. And I think it would be great to keep everybody here and have a nice, safe place where women, men, children can come and receive their services in town and just kind of keep the community in town.
And that you're looking to do that in a part of where Sisters Convenience Store is, where the bank used to be.
Correct.
Okay.
And because of that, you're going to be asking for some waivers related to like traffic and stuff like that, I'd imagine.
I know that there's plenty of parking spaces. I've talked to the landlord about, we've kind of figured out where we would be, where our clients would be. So it seems like there's plenty.
Yeah, considering the bank was in there and the use of the bank is probably similar,
I would say.
If
not more.
Yeah.
impactful to traffic than that. Yeah,
I'd say it's probably less impactful.
the proposed thing. Yeah, and I know you've been trying to find a spot in Hatfield for a while, so I appreciate your persistence.
Thank
and I
you.
think this is a great fit for this parcel, and being on 5 and 10 is really great, I'm sure. And
It's
yeah.
already lit properly. I
Yep,
mean, there's
it has
no
great
real- there's
access.
no re- there's- It's a lower security concern than a bank. I mean, it's,
It's an empty building that's just sitting there ready to go.
Right.
and I've heard nothing but positive feedback about you as a person and about your business. And people are looking forward to having parking. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Would you stay open in Amherst and expand, or just move the whole
We
operation?
would just move the whole operation
How many
to
chairs you think you're going to put in?
3 chairs, myself and 2 hairstylists, and then I have an esthetician.
And hours and stuff similar to banking hours?
Yeah, we are open from Tuesday through Friday, about 10 to 5.
Mhm.
And then Saturdays we designate, we're in and out on Saturdays depending on clientele, and we do a lot of weddings. So yeah, for Saturdays.
Nice. Well, this seems pretty straightforward to me, considering there's no structural changes to the building. It's
There's no
just,
parking issues. There's no pavement issues.
right.
How can
it's-
you make use of the cool drawer, that opens out on the side?
I don't know if it's that
Drive-through
fancy.
haircuts?
I was hoping the vault would still be there, but
Emergency
it's not.
scrunchie dispenser.
all right. Do any other conversation relate around this?
I don't. I'm happy to see something easy come by.
I agree. I'm with him.
All right. Can I get a motion then?
I make a motion, we accept this application.
Second that motion.
I think we need to be a little more specific
okay.
on what we're on this
Okay, I
application.
make a motion, we accept Kate Poole's application to use the property on 22 West Street for a hair salon.
All right. Can I get a second?
Seconded.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye?
Hi.
All right. All right. Approved then.
Thank
Congrats.
you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to your business in town.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited. Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, there's like
Great
a
spot.
20-day waiting period for appeals, but
And
considering
5 and 10 is going to get.
I don't think they.
not with the site plan review. Great. So you're all set then. Great. Welcome.
Get working.
Yeah. Exciting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. Thanks, Gerard, imparting me on all this knowledge before you leave. And so related to that, I know it is not 6:45, but
But we can
we
get going on it. like
we
that.
can get going on it, like Jar said, and not make any sort of vote or
Till-
until
All right.
6:45. All right. With that, we have the site plan for review for Myers Produce at 97 North Hatfield Road, which is going to be soon, or is formerly now, food bank property.
Oh, this is in the food bank property, okay.
Yeah, so if you
Okay.
mind coming up to the mic and explaining what we're asking for here.
Hi.
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 I'm Annie Myers. I'm the owner of Myers Produce, and we are a pretty small scale distributor based currently out of Hadley. And we primarily are buying food from farms in Vermont and Massachusetts and trucking and distributing to customers in New York City and Boston. And we've been operating out of Hadley for the last 10 years, but I've been looking for a more permanent space and are in the process of buying the food bank. So it's currently the food banks, but we are pending this permit, hoping to move in at the end of the year. And really are excited we've been looking for like the appropriate warehouse for a while, and it's exciting because the facility is like pretty much exactly built for what we do. And it's super similar to what the food bank is currently using it for. So we are applying for a waiver for site plan review, I think in part because we're not doing any external changes to the building and expect, pretty similar operations out of that space.
Yeah, because
When is the food bank leaving?
They're scheduled to move out at the end of September.
Okay.
And shockingly seem to be on schedule. So
Oh.
good for them. Sad to see them leave because they're such a staple in town, but excited to see a similar business supporting local farms for that particular spot. So look, it is zoned industrial. You're allowed to have this type of business in an industrial zone. I think some concerns, you outlined them in the letter a little bit about traffic expectations, because I know that the neighborhood in that area on North Hatfield Road has brought up concerns about tractor trailer trucks, particularly CNS folks who are lost or enter the wrong way down there. And so I just want to make sure, you mentioned in here that these are not, 18-wheeler trucks that are going to be going and using the facility, but smaller box trucks, kind of similar size to what currently goes in and out of the food bank, that property currently.
True.
And you're expecting that traffic will probably be less than what's currently being used at the food bank site?
Yeah.
You also mentioned in your application that there's potential other, somebody else might be renting part of the property, and so with that and your business, you anticipate that still being less than food bank
I
volume?
think it's still less. We don't know who that tenant would be. So, but it is not expected that it would be huge traffic.
What is the part that you're going to be renting out? What is that kind of geared up for, if you don't mind?
It's sort of a chunk of the dry storage space, as well as some of the office, if possible. So, I mean, geared up for warehousing, which may or may not really be. It's like, it could be a lot of different types of tenants, I guess, is the answer. to that question.
So I guess what I'm getting down to, the crux of it is, should someone move in there, the traffic wouldn't substantially increase.
No, and really, we expect Myers to need all the loading docks. So in some ways, we're looking for a tenant that could primarily use the van entrances, which is a vote for someone that's not sending a lot of trucks in and out.
So is all the refrigeration staying there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's such a draw for.
Yeah, no
produce.
kidding. I mean, that's huge.
It's huge.
I've been in that place a lot, and there's enormous amount of space for what you're doing.
Yeah, it's awesome for us. It's like a really great setup.
Yeah, and we're helping the local food economy, which I also appreciate with this particular business here.
You're expecting the trucks in and out will be yours, or farms and yours mixed?
A little bit of both, but most of what we carry, we're picking up from farms, so it's coming in on our trucks, which minimizes traffic in some ways, because it's really just our vehicles that are kind of picking up from farms and then bringing one truck in with a lot of product.
Do you feel that your move to Hatfield will bring you to incorporate more of the local farms into your?
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we already work with a lot of farms in this area, but we're suddenly very close to a number that we don't work with yet. So I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I was going to say something about that. I guess the other thing I see here is the timing, the truck timing. It says you do have a weekly truck that leaves at midnight. I feel like that that might be a little different than the food bank's hours.
It's like a 26-foot panel.
Yeah, I know. Just saying.
It's not really.
I know it's an
It would-
industrial
it would be-
zone. I
It
understand
would be
that.
hardly noticeable.
Yeah, with if not an 18-wheeler,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
not allowed.
like the one that goes by my house every morning at 4 o'clock in the morning. We don't have to talk about that.
Well, the one thing we could ask for is that they use the North Hatfield Road, the north entrance coming down North Hatfield Road as opposed to going through the center of town.
Yeah, it says as such in the paperwork.
That's our intention, is like,
I'm sure that's probably your intention because it's much easier, but you know, that might be a condition that
condition that's
keeps the
enforceable.
traffic down for the
Oh,
rest
yeah,
of town.
well, there would be, I would think that midnight run would be going out that way towards the highway. Anyway.
And it would be something that, if we can put it in a condition, it would be something that is then enforceable too, if it became an issue.
Is that something you'd be amenable to?
The only thing too is, what happens if, business is booming because you got a great kick-ass facility now and you need 18-wheeler trucks and all of a sudden.
well, I will say we've been around for 10 years and we have no intention of like going into the tractor trailer direction, but I think
It seems to be logistics.
So are the trucks yours?
we lease 4 of them and then we own a couple.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I guess that would be my only thing is if and when, traffic does become a concern, if traffic does become a concern, that's
Yeah, I mean,
something
it
that would
seems
be come back to the board and be addressed.
Sure.
It seems the business, the kind of the space of the business would limit the size at which they could expand.
Yeah, that's just something that I know
Yeah.
that the neighborhood is concerned about is traffic.
Yeah.
Especially with larger trucks, but not necessarily the
Yeah.
box trucks that are currently coming in and out of the food bank. Any other questions to the applicant?
Just one thing that I had. So the application that we have now, there's different requirements for the different sections and subsections of the land use bylaws. And I think, so for you, 5.5, processing or warehousing of agricultural products, that's the only one that I think applies to this application. And so I don't think we have to worry about
So they should put, if in the application that was submitted, there's like all the different uses that potentially could be used.
Yep.
Yeah.
Instead, you're supposed to just put one. And I think that was a misunderstanding. from the applicant.
yeah, and you could put other ones, but
Right.
yeah.
So
So
what we'll be voting on is,
it's just, yeah.
Yeah, having a trucking company here is not a good idea.
it's allowed there. It's
Yeah,
industrial.
Yeah, I
use.
understand that completely. I just
And they're
think,
technically kind of a trucking company.
right, and I think that if people have a problem, they might have a problem with that delineation as trucking company could mean a lot of other things other than just this.
Yeah, the processing or warehousing of agricultural products is the
Right.
primary thing that
Right.
they're going to be putting in there.
And that covers, I think, office space that you would have to have in relation to your operations
Yeah.
and
Mhm. And that's probably what the food bank would have qualified as
Yeah.
5.1 in the,
or 5.5.
or you're saying 5.5, sorry. Yes, 5.5.
Yeah.
So just when we,
And then, yeah, I think 5.5, which is processing or warehousing of agricultural products, would cover other products related to agriculture, so dairy products as well. Because 5.1 is dairy,
yeah, it's
but that
kind of
has
weird
different
that
recommendations.
our table of use is a little funny.
Add it to my list of things.
Add it to your list of things.
But yeah, that's just my little note that I had.
Okay.
How much better is this new site from your old site?
Oh my gosh, world's better.
Really?
Are you renting at your current spot? Yeah, so I'm just
Yeah.
trying to find something permanent,
Hmm.
which is great.
It's also been much smaller, so
Wow.
this is a big leap for us.
I mean, come on, isn't it great that the food bank is, that there's somebody coming back in?
That's great. I don't want any gap. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right,
To already
agree
use the
100% that-
infrastructure there.
that's the last building in town that we want empty right now.
Already there.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions for the applicant? Concerns? Do you recommend then, Janelle, like when we
Vote that
to-
you,
we'll make it just be 5.5?
yeah, just because there's different.
Processing and warehousing of agricultural project.
Yeah.
Question from the crowd?
Oh, yes, hi.
Hi.
Could you state your name?
Is this Lori Motiga, 60 North Hatfield Road. We got the letter that this started at 6:45. It seems like it started earlier.
Yeah, according to, our other things ended earlier that we can talk about them before 6:45, but we can't vote before 6:45. So if you,
Any questions?
Can you bring us up to speed? We'd be willing to hear the questions.
the time to talk about anything on the agenda, I guess, would be now too. So if you have a couple questions, yeah, please feel free. Just make your way closer to the.
Tell us what it's all about.
They're buying, what it's all about is they're buying the food bank building. They have a business in Hadley right now that's a rental. They're looking to buy this to move their produce business to that warehouse.
Yeah.
That's all it's about.
They're expecting that it's going to be less traffic than what is there now. It's not going to be 18 wheelers like the food bank is using.
The food bank isn't using.
Oh, they aren't. Oh, sorry. It's going to be, well, then is it
It would
smaller?
depend, the way it's been presented is it's going to be very similar to what's going on with the food bank, perhaps with less traffic even. And the only real concern that we addressed was there's going to be one truck leaving at midnight
Once a week.
once a week,
So
and it wouldn't.
wouldn't they be held to the same standards as CNS restrictions?
Not necessarily. CNS is, each business can be held to different restrictions depending on how we want to do that. CNS also has 18 wheelers, and this business,
Runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week also. And
CNS,
this, CNS, so this would not be running
They have
20.
restrictions as to noise ordinance at
Correct.
certain times and.
Yep, so there's restrictions, noise stuff. I mean, that stuff.
Yeah,
there's
they
not
would be
gonna-
they would be held accountable to the same type of restriction. Yes, and as presented, it honestly it seems that it's going to be less of a footprint on.
Business, is
It's been presented as a warehousing, and they're taking
Local food
they're
distributor.
taking local farms food, and then they're distributing it to outside stores.
Any reefers going to be running?
I guess that would be a question for Annie. Are there going to be refrigerator trucks running in the yard?
Normally, no, like we have plenty of refrigeration space for what we do, so that's not part of the plan.
Any other concerns? We'd love to hear them. We're
The
obviously.
food bank has been very good neighbors.
Yeah.
CNS not so much. but
Yeah.
No, I mean,
That was our main concern is the noise and, trucks leaving at all hours of the night and.
yes. Yeah.
And I don't think we've mentioned it yet since you've come in here, but we talked about the one truck that's leaving at midnight is going to be taking north.
Yeah, it will be
going north.
It will be heading out north. I mean, through
CNS.
No, it would be going out North Hatfield. Yeah, and it would be, and it's one box truck. It's not
Once a week.
yes.
No.
And we'll,
But now I heard you ask a question later down the road about tractor trailers and things. If that progresses to that, will there be the same limitations as CNS?
So that's something that that's why we would put some condition in there that would, and also if there's enough complaints, then they would have to come back before us and have to go through another permit. It was in the application that was it was referred, that was at the town hall that you could take a look at, but it says about there will be trucks leaving between 5 and 9 and returning between 3 and 6. They have 3 to 4 vehicles that leave each morning and return in the afternoon. And they are 18 to 26 foot long box trucks. And then one of them leaving in the middle of the night.
Once a week.
We were just concerned it might be tractor trailers sitting there.
That was my concern as well, because I know that.
Sometimes CNS will let them run right on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like logistics there are really tough. I mean, I don't think you'd be begging to get a truck in there intentionally.
Yeah, and we are aware that the neighborhood is definitely concerned about traffic based on other hearings that we've had there.
10 lost trucks a day there that try to turn around. And I don't know if there's any way to put a sign at the end of North Hatfield Road instead of around the corner, that this is, I mean, it's a little sign, not a CNS truck entrance, but no.
Yeah, that's a perennial.
So that's, see,
thing,
that's,
yeah.
Bounce that
that's
off
about
Garrett.
CNS, has nothing to do with this project, unfortunately.
No, I know.
What if we could bounce that off Garrett?
Yeah, but I've seen some new signs go up, like there's one on Gore Avenue about not a CNS truck entrance, but that's something we can talk about. Yeah, that's something
And
that,
maybe we can make that happen unofficially.
We've already discussed a condition for this project that the owner would direct all traffic to the north. Nobody would be heading into
Well, I
town.
mean, if they were going to pick up in town at farms.
Yeah.
they'd have to
Farm
go
in
that
town.
way,
We're talking about
obviously.
the ins and outs, right? The New York.
Right,
law,
they
so
wouldn't, yeah, they, I mean, it would seem to me they wouldn't have any reason.
Local traffic has to
Yeah.
stay local. But
and then, yeah, if we would, if Kyle received a number of complaints about this particular property, we would then ask you to come back and renegotiate the terms if your business was booming and you were using tractor trailer trucks all of a sudden.
That's good.
And any other discussion? Is there any other comments from y'all?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming in.
I know,
We-
thank
we
you.
appreciate it. I don't have anything else.
Anything else?
I'm good.
All right.
move to approve.
Yes. So what are you motioning there, John? Yeah, 5.5.
Move to approve. Is this an A&R or is this a site plan
Nope.
review?
Site plan review.
Site plan review proposed for 97 North Hatfield Road, along with the condition that we amend the applicable section of the zoning bylaws to only read 5.5.
I would second that.
Any
Oh, we need discussion, yes, sorry.
discussion about potentially putting that condition in there also? About traffic using North Hatfield Road?
Oh, yeah, may I add to that the contingency that the midnight truck route would exit northbound on North Hatfield Road,
Overnight truck route.
overnight truck route. Okay, I need a second.
Second.
Yeah, second.
You got a second.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Welcome to Hatfield.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats.
Hey, thanks for coming in, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, that was pretty smooth.
All right. Now time to approve the minutes.
Annie, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks
I'm
for
excited.
coming to town.
I've been aware of your business for a few years now, so I'm really excited to see you come to town. Yeah. Thanks.
We're all very happy to have you coming to town and taking over that food bank building.
Thank you.
All right. Now approval of our June 7th meeting minutes. Did everyone get a chance to review them? If not, we can take a minute or two to
I'm
Take a look at
reviewing
now.
right
I really likes this plan.
Yeah, he's been hanging.
What's the C attachment for peer review next page?
Just makes more noise.
Yeah, it says that the peer review would be attached and there isn't an attachment, so just ensuring that that's there. Yep.
Or else you can't go. They said, or else you can't go.
All right,
All right.
seems accurate.
All right. Anything else? Anybody like to make a motion? Minute.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as
Presented.
printed. Gerard's last moment.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes from June 7th approved. Our next meeting is Wednesday, September 6th, which is, yeah, coming soon, September. All right. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion adjourned.